Good evening, everyone. Mike Palmer from Know Your Rights Group and Success Coaching International with another very exciting live update tonight. We've got a lot of different topics to cover, so I'm going to whip through them as quickly as I can. But on the whole, really positive, really exciting stuff as we head into another weekend. Now, first and foremost, it seems like people are actually starting to wake up. People are researching and looking online and realizing that these ridiculous, flimsy paper masks are absolutely pointless. They've gone online, they've seen what people actually wear, the hazmat suits and all the rest of it when they're dealing with a real virus, and how this isn't going to stop anything. So more and more people, it seems, are taking these things off, but they're finding that they're faced with challenges of people refusing to let them into businesses, people refusing to give them service. We've heard of a number of especially fast food places where, get this, even if you drive in the drive-through, if you're not wearing your mask in the car in the drive-through, they're saying they won't serve you. So we're hearing lots and lots of these really crazy stories. So I want to give you some legislation. Again, as always, I urge you to go and look this up, confirm, verify, validate it for yourselves, and of course, download, print off a copy, keep it in your car, keep it in your pocket, whatever. So we're going to have a look tonight at the Disability Discrimination Act 1992. Okay, Disability Discrimination Act 1992. Now, first and foremost, you go into the definitions. It says disability in relation to a person means A, total or partial loss of the person's bodily or mental functions. Okay, so it can be physical or mental. Anyone who wears one of these, I dare say, might have some mental problems, just saying. G, a disorder, illness or disease that affects a person's thought processes, perception of reality, emotions or judgment, or results in a disturbed behaviour. Again, you should be very disturbed if you wear one of these around, okay? It causes people to feel claustrophobic, it causes them breathing problems, a whole range of issues. And then it finishes off, it says, to avoid doubt, a disability that is otherwise covered by this definition includes behaviour that is a symptom or manifestation of the disability. Again, the DHHS website gives a whole host of reasons why you are exempt from wearing these pathetic, useless, flimsy paper masks. Okay, so it falls under quite clearly the definition of disability. Just pick whichever one you want. So then we go to section 5 and it says direct disability discrimination. For the purposes of this act, a person, the discriminator, discriminates against another person, the aggrieved person, on the grounds of a disability of the aggrieved person if, because of the disability, the discriminator treats or proposes to treat the aggrieved person less favourably than the discriminator would treat a person without the disability in circumstances that are not materially different. I.e., they can't say, no, you've got no mask, okay, and therefore we're not going to serve you. That's essentially what it says. And this is backed up in section 23, which talks about access to premises. And it says it is unlawful for a person to discriminate against another person on the ground of the person's disability. A, by refusing to allow the other person access to or the use of any premises that the public or a section of the public is entitled or allowed to enter or use, whether for payment or not. B, the terms and conditions on which the first mentioned person is prepared to allow the person access to or the use of any such premises, i.e. we won't serve you, you can't come onto our premises without a mask. That covers and caters to all of those. And then F, by requiring the other person to leave such premises or cease to use such facilities. Okay, they cannot discriminate against you. All you need to say is that you have an exemption from wearing one of these pointless, stupid, ridiculous things that aren't going to do anything other than affect your breathing, increase your, recirculated breathing, reduce your oxygen intake. Okay, there's the evidence. Okay, that's the sections of legislation that you rely on. So print those out, keep those with you. But it is really great to see that more people are starting to rip those things off, and they've just had enough of them, which is fantastic. All right, now the other news, the big news of this week, if you were listening on Tuesday night to our radio show, you will have heard that literally with half an hour, I think maybe even less, before we went to air, Facebook, in their infinite wisdom, decided to shut down our Facebook group. Okay, we lost 20,000 members. Now, people are going, but hang on, Mike, we're watching you on a live video, we're on your Facebook group. Okay, there seems to be some confusion, so I want to clear this up for everybody. Okay, what you're watching me on now, if you're on Facebook, is on our Facebook page. Okay, so you can be a follower to the page, you can like the page, you can get notifications from the page, but you can't interact with this page. You can interact with this video and put comments and whatever, but you can't interact with the page. The beauty of the Facebook group was that people could put comments, people could ask questions, people could post articles, and they could interact with each other as a community. And of course, Facebook doesn't want that. So what we have done is we've started up, and I've been telling people about this for months because it was all but inevitable, we've started up a MeWe page. So mewe.com. There's a link on exactly how to join, okay, in the description of this video. Now, I don't think how it works, but I think if it's in Facebook, the link's up there. If it's in YouTube, the link's down there. Have a look in the description of the video somewhere. You'll find that direct link to our MeWe page. There's no censorship there. People can post whatever they like. So there's open, honest, clear discussion there. So we urge everybody to please join up to our MeWe page. Now, what we have done is we had an old secret Facebook group that was incorrectly listed as secret, and it could never be changed back because it had over 5,000 members. People couldn't find it. What we've done is we've got that group. It's got 9,500 members. We've just taken off the hidden section, so it's still a private group, but you can now search for it and find it. So if you are a newbie, and this is only really for newbies, okay? If you are a newbie and you want to interact at that lower level, that entry level with people on Facebook, you can now do a search for Know Your Rights and you will find our old Facebook group. But we are going to be really, really, really strict on what posts we allow. Anything controversial is going to be immediately deleted and banned. It's only for MeWe. By all means, put it up on MeWe and then put a link on the Facebook page, but we can't have any controversial posts on our Facebook page. We need to leave that just for the beginners, just for the newbies, because there are so many people out there that are starting to wake up. And yes, we all know Facebook's bad and we all know about Zuckerberg and all the rest of it, but we want to wake up the sheep. Okay, we want to wake up the average person out there on the street. So we need to still have a Facebook presence. And the only way we're going to be able to keep that is if we keep it really basic and really simple. Okay, so please, for all of the advanced people out there, jump on MeWe, follow us, interact with us there. Of course, all these videos will remain on Facebook. They're also going up on BitChute because it's inevitable as well that our YouTube channel will be taken down too. So we're preparing for that as well. All right, now, speaking of YouTube, I flick through the comments wherever I can. I obviously don't get a chance to personally respond to every one of them, but I want to do a special shout out to Jeff Davidson, who put up a post on one of our videos, I think sometime today, and this was fantastic. So I'm just reading straight out what he said here. He says, Professor Sutton's evidence to the inquiry, so that's what happened today, just confirmed what Mike and the team have been saying all along. The Biosecurity Act had always been applied to individuals rather than classes of persons. The orders and the powers that apply in those orders are really for the purpose of managing that individual who might be a risk by virtue of having a listed human disease or being suspected of having a listed human disease, and is not, as far as I know, applied to a class of persons more broadly. This is Sutton's evidence in the hearing about the quarantine debacle. This is what he said word for word. He went on to testify, okay, so this is under oath. The concern about applying the law to a class of persons could be said to apply equally to the state legislation, being obviously the Public Health and Wellbeing Act. Okay, so there's verification, okay, from Sutton himself, from Brett Sutton, the Chief Health Officer, saying that the order must be specific to the person. If you are not personally listed in that biosecurity order or in that public health and wellbeing order, it does not apply to you. They cannot make a broad-based order that applies to all Victorians or all people in Melbourne metro area, okay, or in the state of Queensland or anything like that. It doesn't work that way. Okay, so please, if you haven't yet seen it, go back and watch the footage from Brett Sutton's testimony, okay, in that inquiry today, because he categorically confirms what we have been trying to explain to everybody all along. All of these fines, the whole lot, all of the restrictions, the curfews, the masks, the whole lot, are unlawful. Please make sure you understand that, and please make sure you understand why. Now, another great article that one of our members sent through. I want to move away from COVID for a minute, but again, it just reaffirms why so many of these fines are unlawful. Now, this has come straight out of the Herald Sun, so you can look this up on the Herald Sun. It says, parking fines were oh so unfair. And it's written that way, obviously, for a reason. The key subheading there is 1,200 tickets could be waived. It says more than 1,200 motorists could have their parking fines waived after an investigation by the Victorian Ombudsman found they had been unfairly charged for mixing up the number 0 with the letter O. A report by the Ombudsman found an overzealous approach among senior managers at the City of Melbourne, which may have led to nearly $100,000 in fines wrongly dished out. Now, I know some of you watching this have got friends or family go, oh, but if you've got a fine, you've obviously done something wrong, you just need to pay it. Well, there's proof. Again, the Aussie speeding fines guys have got proof after proof after proof of how many fines are issued incorrectly. And here we've got stuff that's just come out of the news, just today. It goes on to say the City of Melbourne had confused the number 0 with the letter O when putting their registration details while parking. We estimate over 1,200 motorists were affected by a pace stain mistake, which council could have easily checked when the driver requested a review. But what do? You write in asking a review, they go, yeah, we've reviewed it and the fine still stands. Okay, you've got to properly challenge it. And again, if you want to know how to do that, please, if you want to know how to challenge any fine, grab this Aussie Speeding Fines book. It's got that 3-step process that explains step 1, step 2, step 3. It's all pre-written for you in the letters. All you do is cut and paste your details in the infringement notice, who the agency is, and send it off. It's extremely powerful. I urge you, jump onto the Aussie Speeding Fines website. There's a link in the description. Again, I don't know if it's up or down or however it works. But just go. There's a testimonials link, and there's, I think it's 6 or 7 pages of testimonials to see just how many people have successfully used this information over the past 10, 12 years. Okay, for speeding fines, parking fines, unregistered dog fines, failing to wear a bicycle helmet fines. It's so, so powerful. Grab this book, and of course, yes, you can adapt it to all of these current fines, the COVID fines, the mask fines, the curfew fines, the 5 kilometres from home fines. All of it can all be, addressed and successfully challenged in the same way. Now, I want to get on to 2 other quick points in relation to this. It says those being affected should now be able to have their $83 fine withdrawn when they appeal. It also went on to say that despite the council's lawyers warning the letters could be misleading because they were rewording the reminder notice, encouraging people to just pay up rather than challenging the fines, and suggesting that there was no way they had any success if they challenged the fine. And we've come across this, many, many times over the past few years. But here's one of the key lines. It says the allegation that the council was improperly raising revenue was not substantiated, she said, because the council was losing money taking these matters to court. There is your key, people. Take these matters to court. Challenge every fine in court because it costs these agencies money. The more people that do it, the more money they will lose. If anyone out there runs their own business, you know what it's like. If it costs you, $150 to get an $83 sale that you ultimately don't get because the fine's withdrawn, you're not going to stay in business very long. Please understand that all of these fines are just a business. Parking fines, speeding fines, all these COVID fines, it's just about making money. The more people that challenge, the more likely it is the fines will get withdrawn, or even better still, we can collapse the entire court system because it simply can't handle the number of challenges that it's currently receiving. All right, now, other good news. There's now been 2, not 1, but 2 class actions have now been filed against the Victorian government. The first one was a cafe owner, Michelle Loliello, and that was regarding the curfews. And then another one just recently, Jordan Roberts, and he's put in a class action for in regards to loss of income, stress, depression, the whole lot. That was filed by Carbone lawyers. And we need more of this. You can actually go and join those class actions. So please look these up online. If you want to be part of them, if you want to join them, go and do that. Okay, the pressure is on. It is well and truly on, and that is exactly what we need to do. We need to keep heaping the pressure on, especially now. I actually got an email from the Liberal Party. It's member Michael O'Brien. It says this, Dear Mike, after numerous failures, cover-ups and lies by the Andrews Labor government, this morning in State Parliament, the Liberal Nationals moved a no-confidence motion in Premier Daniel Andrews. It is the first step needed to dissolve the Parliament and allow Victorians to vote the toxic Andrews Labor government out of office. So this is great. He is getting attacked from every angle, and that is exactly what we need right now. We need to be bombarding him from every possible angle. I was actually involved in a bit of an online debate with an old friend of mine from a long time ago on Facebook, and she actually took the time to write a really well-written article, and she said, look, I've sat there and I've watched Daniel Andrews, you know, and 7 days a week he's there front and centre giving his reports, and he's very methodical, and you know, and he takes responsibility, and he says, yes, the buck stops with me, and I really don't see why everyone, you know, is having such a go at him. And I said, listen, I can absolutely see why you would see things that way. And yeah, everything you said, yes, he has turned up 7 days a week. But wouldn't you for $440,000 a year? Absolutely. Okay, yes, he's very methodical. He's reading from a script. Okay? Oh, and yes, he reads the numbers every day. Yeah, he reads the numbers of 70-year-olds and 80-year-olds and 90-year-olds that have passed away, but he doesn't once tell you the number of 30-year-olds and 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds with their, you know, lives ahead of them, their families that have been left behind because they've committed suicide because of these ridiculous, unnecessary and ineffective restrictions that he has personally imposed. Okay, now the other issue, this is the leader of our state. He has been caught out lying again and again and again. He repeatedly said he wasn't offered assistance from the ADF. Well, there's been new reports that came out just as recently as yesterday that said absolutely categorically ScoMo wrote to him 3 times offering ADF assistance. He kept saying he didn't want it. Now that decision is what created the second wave here in Victoria. He's also lied about the curfews. Okay, he had no lawful right to impose those curfews. Brett Sutton didn't request them. The police commissioner didn't request them. And without either of those people requesting them, he had no power or authority to impose them. He imposed them just because he thought it would be better for enforcement and make it simpler. But he doesn't get to make that call. He is supposed to use the least restrictions required, not just throw some extra things in because he feels like it. He has to take personal responsibility. Now, it's all great that he says, oh, yes, I'm very sorry, and the buck stops with me. But don't talk crap, okay? Actually do something, okay? I've said this before. I put my hand up before anybody else. I've made more monumental stuff-ups in my life than anybody, okay? I've lied, I've cheated, I've hurt people, I've broken things, or whatever it is. But I go out of my way to try and rectify those mistakes, to try and make up for those mistakes. If I've hurt someone or upset someone, I try and make them feel better. I try and take action, not just talk about how sorry I am. Now, listen, I've said this before. We're all human. Dan Andrews is just a human. I get that. We all make mistakes. Then be a man, step down and say, all right, I made a mistake. This is a monumental mistake that has cost lives. The right thing for me to do is step aside and show you that I'm taking responsibility for my decisions. I'm also going to hand over my $440,000 a year salary to one of the mental health groups to help support them. And me and my family are going to live on $0 or $750 a week on JobKeeper like the rest of you, to show you, to demonstrate, not just talk, but to actually show you that we're all in this together. Okay, this is what Dan Andrews needs to do. Be a man, step up. Take responsibility and demonstrate with action, not just with talk. We can all talk, okay? Demonstrate it. Show us that you're sorry. Step aside, quit your job, forgo your salary, and then people might go, oh, wow, he was actually serious. He really does care. He really does take responsibility. And maybe he might get voted back in next time. Who knows? But what he's doing right now is not only destroying his career, but it's destroying the careers of everyone in the Labor Party as well. So not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but conversation for another day. So let's keep the pressure on. Okay, the class actions are brilliant. Now again, while I'm talking about the pressure, let's keep the pressure on with the My Will letters. Okay, remember in here, it's chapter 9, bonus chapter 1 in the vaccinations area is the My Will letter. You can adapt that to suit. Send this off to your parliamentarians. Okay, get your head around this information. All right, we're about to head into another weekend. Regional Victoria is about to come out of some serious restrictions. Now the police have decided in their infinite wisdom, we're just going to magically create these $5,000 fines if anyone from Melbourne Metro decides to go into regional Victoria. But where's the authority for the creation of those fines? Remember, Section 92 of the Commonwealth Constitution says intercourse among the states shall be free. Shall be free. It's all in here. Get your head around the information in this book. It is so vital to understanding your rights, okay? Dan Andrews was prattling on about people can't leave Melbourne metro area and go into regional Victoria unless it's for a lawful reason. Yes, the lawful reason is exercising your rights under Section 92 of the Commonwealth Constitution. That's your lawful reason, okay? So please, as we head into another weekend, as always, I urge you, please get informed, get fired up, and get proactive. And of course, the best way to do that is via these 3 ebooks. And again, we keep hearing some really great success stories from people who are struggling financially, who've used this Bank Secrets Revealed book to successfully challenge a bunch of personal loans, credit cards, things like that. So if you are suffering financially, please don't leave it to the last minute. Don't wait till the debt collectors are knocking on the door trying to serve you with papers. Get onto this book now. And of course, you'll find it in the description, up, down, wherever it is, a link to our combo packs where you can get all 3 books. Otherwise, just go to knowyourrightsgroup.com.au/hour-e-book. Or just click on the ebook, our ebook tab. So hope you all have a fantastic weekend. Stay safe, be happy, and I'll talk to you all on Sunday night.